Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you are all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and the events of yesterday are still very fresh in the mind indeed. We will get back to that in a few minutes time here, but wanted to talk also about this patch update which is coming into the game. We talked a few days ago the fact that the MP5, even the Milano was seen in scrims. Was that the result of pros believing that some sort of meta change is going to come in as a result of this, well, seemingly major patch update which is coming in a few days time? Definitely some implications here, and Karma said on stream yesterday that snipers may actually be back in action as a result of this change. Intrigued to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. Let's get into things then. So as TJHaLy said yesterday, today's update, all this type of stuff, this really is the major one. The mid-season update details come out, weapon tuning preview. Now typically it's on a Thursday they do these type of updates. I wonder whether this would come in immediately. And you do have to wonder the fact that, okay, this patch update is coming in next week. That means that there's only 1 week left of group play in stage 2 and then the major after that. So will they actually play on the new patch updates for week 3 and week 4 of the season? Probably not on week 4 of the stage even. So, will they actually play on the new patch update? Maybe not. So we might be waiting until stage 3 until these changes take effect. But they could be some major ones, because this is what TJHaLy say. Tuning schedule for the following weapons next week: LT10, 74U, Mac 10, KSP, Milano, Krig, FFAR, Groza, Magnum, 1911, RBG, LMG adjustments. Like, so much stuff happening. Now, a lot of these weapons, of course, are meta weapons right now. The LT10 dominating league play for sure. Hopefully that gets some sort of nerf at the very least. But the 74U also probably overrepresented in terms of the amount of people using it. They're probably looking at the stats and thinking, okay, the 74U is too strong. Interestingly, we see the Milano here as well, because this is what we discussed the other day. That kind of leak that came out a while ago suggesting that the 74U is going to get a recoil nerf, certainly. The Milano might even get some sort of buff. The FFAR, we heard, is going to get another recoil nerf. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the Krig exactly, because honestly, a lot of these could change significantly what the weapon meta looks like. The XM4 is gone regardless, so it's not really going to affect that. But in league play, of course, you could argue the XM4 is still very strong, and that's not going to get changed at all. But I do wonder exactly what's happening here, because there was some discussion last night on the flank. I haven't got to watch the whole thing yet, but they were kind of discussing the whole idea that yes, this Krig on a 60Hz server is very good indeed. And I believe Accuracy and Priestahh last night were using the Krig yesterday at times, as opposed to the QBZ, right? And we've typically talked about, okay, the QBZ is that kind of flex gun, the Krig's the main AR. However, teams seem to be having a lot of success with the Krig in hand, not the QBZ. So if the FFAR gets buffed again, that was of course the meta weapon right at the start of the game. We've actually seen some people using it lately, even with this increased recoil that it does currently have. If that then gets if that gets buffed even more, we could see the FFAR back in that kind of flex gun. It honestly fits kind of well into that type of role, and if it's well balanced and not too OP again, then maybe it's something which doesn't get GA'd. But many questions right here, because I think honestly this is going to have a pretty significant impact on what the meta looks like. The 74U, I'm not sure how long it is for this world. With if this nerf comes into play and some of the other SMGs get buffed, who knows what we're exactly going to be seeing going forwards. And well, this is what Crone says as well. Full patch notes coming Monday. But yeah, all these weapons, as we just saw, are going to get, well, a complete recoil balance passed on assault rifles and SMG attachments also included. So honestly, I think a lot is going to change here. It's a pretty big deal. And I think the pros are probably expecting it to have an effect on the weapon meta, as we've seen them do a couple of days ago. As LAG say, which weapon do you miss the most in the CDL? The FFAR potentially coming back, the XM4 of course, the AK-47 nowhere near coming back of course. As Raven say though, we know you guys are missing the XM4 after their pretty difficult series a couple of days ago. This I thought was interesting from Jacob as well, just given we were talking about the whole idea of maps being kind of broken. There seems to be some contest spot on this P3 over at Apocalypse. If you stand in this corner over here, you can actually contest the hill from just outside it. We've seen this on a few different maps. I remember like Hijacked way back in Black Ops 2, this was an issue as well early on. And well, not exactly the ideal thing. Maybe TJHaLy will find this and well, fix it with any luck. And just a quick clip from the flank last night with Karma talking about, as they go over this OpTic versus Minnesota series, the fact that with this new weapon tuning update, snipers supposedly are going to be back. What does that exactly mean? What is causing this? Are they adding some flinch to the weapons, as was kind of hinted at in that leak a while ago, or is something else going on? But Karma seems to think that snipers could be back on the menu, and well, what impact does that have on some of the pro teams?
The dynamic on that is, and we'll probably get to it at the end of this show, but there's a weapon tuning patch coming, so things may be changing here in the next week or so.
Weapon tuning patch coming, guys. Hot take, Ben. He's letting off some steam.
We gotta just stay in fact.
Did they announce that? Did they release it?
Yeah, they did. TJHaLy tweeted all the guns
snipers are coming back.
Snipers are coming back. Are we gonna see smokes being tweaked a little bit again?
I wish.
I actually think this update might change the game a little bit, so we'll see.
What the happening with the smokes, Nato? I don't get it. I don't understand. They fixed them, didn't they?
Yeah, but I think people's I don't
Now we have to talk about once again yesterday's event, right? As Scump says, unacceptable series from us. We go again Sunday. GG's to Minnesota. I mean, the 3-0 defeat to this new Minnesota Rokkr. Stanley coming into the lineup. Pretty incredible stuff. You don't see this type of stuff every day. I mean, some of the replies to this are just out of control. I do not, I do not envy the OpTic guys at all. Whenever, like, anything goes well or goes badly, yeah, the people who are in the replies, as Method's kind of replies a bit, all the Twitter analysts, I suppose, in the replies, yeah, it's pretty mind-blowing stuff. But as Chrome says, hot tip, Challengers is full of talent. We've only been scratching the surface of the North American region. Plenty of untouched talent in other regions as well. And with time, they'll be able to get to the States. And honestly, with expansion next year, it's going to be very exciting. And I think we've seen so many players these last couple of seasons really come up and completely break out in the pro scene. And it's not necessarily a raw talent thing, even though that helps. I think a lot of it is like playtime, right? These guys get on every single day, you know, with a passion to get into the pro league, and they're grinding like all the time. They're playing like pubs if they need to. Of course, like 8s and such, playing with their team, scrimming. They're doing all they can to actually, well, improve and get better at the game. And a lot of, I think, that like the old head SMGs, especially, that are kind of getting replaced right now, are, you know, are players that maybe don't have quite the drive that they used to. They're maybe getting on and playing 8 hours a day, which of course a lot of Call of Duty to be played. But it's not quite what these Challengers guys are doing, and the passion that they have. And well, of course, they're relatively younger in their career. So I think that might be a big driver as to why these guys are really coming up trumps. And well, Standy yesterday was phenomenal. Today we're going to get to see Venom in action. We'll have a look at that in a few minutes' time. As Octane says, yesterday, Honeymoon go crazy. We'll certainly have to see how Minnesota perform over time. It's probably too early to say that they're like going to be an absolute god tier team as a result of this. We'll have to see a few more series, but certainly if they play like that, they're going to be hard to stop. And I thought this was incredible that EasyMac points out as well. These are the rookie debut series KD numbers the past couple of seasons. So ILLey and Shotzzy, I'm pretty sure like ILLey, Shotzzy, maybe Spartan, Luca, these debuts were on LAN. The other ones are all online. So ILLey had a 0.81, Shotzzy with a 0.75. I mean, like, what a glide from those guys, to be honest, to winning the World Championship. But most of these debut, of course, series right here were not the best by any means. I mean, guys like Shotzzy with a 0.75, Mac with a 0.79. I mean, a lot of the teams, especially in 5v5, having a difficult time last year, you know, implementing these new rookies and getting good numbers out of them. However, so far this season, Neptune was pretty good, DiamondCon was pretty good, Fire had a pretty rough one early on, but Paulex, Inside, and Standy now especially having really good numbers. So it's unclear exactly whether this is a 4v4 thing or exactly what's going on. But last season, a lot of these players had a difficult time slotting in best to the lineups, and well, this time around it seems like maybe they've made better choices in terms of who the pro teams are picking up, but also they're having a better time. In Standing with a 1.52, that's going to be a crazy debut series KD for the history books, especially up against a team like OpTic Chicago. This as well, like that Chrome points out, I mean, it was on the OpTic free show not too long ago, and you know, Forward was kind of talking about the fact that it would be a shame if this guy underperformed. He certainly did not do that, and as TacticalRab Academy says, all these Challengers players flying around, I'm telling you, Center is coming into this CDL match this season, no doubt about it. He's putting in the hours, he's going to get a spot on Atlanta FaZe, there is no question about it. But as Clayster says, really interesting to be honest, seems like the vets are finally understanding the importance of bringing in rookies who have grown up on Call of Duty. Couple of years too late, but thank you for the rings, right? Saying, look, the last couple of years in the United, especially with Simp and aBeZy on the team, won the World Championship that year. Then next year on Dallas Empire, bringing Huke, Shotzzy, won the World Championship that year. And now here we are again with a, you know, Seam, Diamond Card, etc. Mac on the team as well. And well, they're having some pretty good success so far this season on the subliners. We'll see them in action as well later on today. So yeah, Clayster kind of calling out some of the other veterans, saying, look, you haven't figured out the fact that all these rookies are so dominant so far, but yeah, finally you're doing so. And I believe Zuma said something the other day on the flank, or maybe some other episode, about yeah, pretty much a lot of the veterans just hate the rookies because they're kind of scared they're going to take their jobs. Maybe we'll talk about that in coming days, but yeah, certainly a fear that I would have if I was at a pro on the brink of the pro league, because well, if you drop out, how can you really expect to get back in? As Clayster as well, some of the replies on this tweet absolutely insane. Don't want to look through any of them, but yeah, certainly do not envy the OpTic guys when they have a bad series, because it's not looking great. But at the same time, they didn't play well, right? So of course on Sunday they played the Mutineers. That's honestly a bogey team, like a banana skin type team for a lot of teams right now. And of course they did beat Paris, which is another one of those type of teams. But we'll have a look at exactly the standings here in just a second. Sender says, though, GG's to Minnesota, unacceptable loss. You know, not going to dwell on it. We need to redefine our S&D even more on certain maps, not feel rushed when things aren't going our way. And that's the thing, there's some teams, they go down 2-0 and you can kind of see like a spark in them that you think they might bring the reverse sweep. But there's a couple of times now, OpTic got 3-0'd by New York, they got 3-0'd now by Minnesota. you know, both of those series, I think a team maybe like Dallas or a team even like New York gets in those 2-0 deficits and then actually, okay, they focus up, they regain it, they get ready to go again. OpTic don't seem to have that right now. When they're down, like they're down bad, as Lando said in the series, down catastrophic, down apocalyptic, and they can't seem to bring their way back into a series, which is really something you need as a top tier team. If you're up against Atlanta FaZe and like you want to beat them consistently, sometimes you're going to go down 0-2. That's how it is, but you need the mental fortitude to actually, you know, believe that you can bring the series back 3-2. That's certainly something that New York have right now and other teams seem to have, but I'm not sure OpTic have that right now. So that's certainly something that Sender's kind of getting at right here. When things aren't going our way, we need to turn it around. You know, so frustrating to watch when our practice is the exact opposite. On to the next one. And well, here's Standy with a 1.52 overall KD, 3.25 in a, well, Search and Destroy as well. You don't see that one every day. Remarkable stuff. And I just thought I'd mention this as well. These are the standings in the groups. And this honestly is a really big deal. FaZe, of course, I think they play tomorrow or like not later today. We'll have a look at the series here in just a second for tonight. But yeah, Group B, Dallas here at 2-0, Seattle at 1-1, Mutiny's at 1-1, OpTic at 1-1. I mean, there's a lot to say about this group, right? Because only top 3 get into the winners bracket. And we talked about this being like kind of the group of death, especially now Minnesota are looking a lot better seemingly with this roster change coming in. Seattle also looking a lot better. They went Game 5, Round 11 with Dallas. Mutiny's who really knows what you're getting out of them. Of course, OpTic have already beaten Paris. So OpTic have beaten Paris. They've lost to Minnesota. They faced the top 3 teams in the group as it stands right now to, well, finish out the pool. One of which, of course, being the Dallas Empire, and that could certainly be a loss for OpTic. I mean, it's no guarantees you're going to win that one. Last time it was a Game 5, Round 11 defeat. So realistically, if OpTic want to guarantee themselves getting out of this group, they need to beat Seattle and Florida to get to 3-1, and then if they do lose to Dallas or, you know, it's another crazy close series, then okay, it'll be 3-2 and they'll still get out into the winners. But if they lose one of those series, you know, there's a lot riding on that Dallas series then, right? So much to say about this group going forwards. I mean, a Group A seems a little bit more clear-cut, but even then you don't really know what you're getting out of Thieves nowadays, given this new roster change, and well, Toronto trying some other things as well over there. So honestly, so much to discuss, I'm sure, these coming days, and these are the 2 games for us to enjoy later today. Thieves versus the Royal Ravens. A couple of these series are pretty interesting. I mean, LAG really haven't been looking so good up against the subliners, so I imagine they're probably going to fall in this one. But yeah, Thieves versus Ravens, both these teams with rookies now coming into the squads. Paul X is in. Thieves now have Venom for the first time, so I think this is a really exciting series to keep your eyes on, and I'm not really sure the way this is going to go. I think the Thieves and subliners should probably be favourites here. If we see a honeymoon period like what Minnesota had yesterday with the Thieves, then you imagine they're going to improve somewhat significantly. But there's no guarantees things will work out as well as Standy has for the Rokkr. Intrigued to hear all your thoughts on this stuff in the comment section below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm to know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive Call of Duty community. Thank you for watching as always, take care, and I will see you next time.